Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
We are the weirdos, mister.
Black as night, erase death from our sight. White as light, mighty hectate make it right. I myself am strange and unusual.
It's time to cast a circle, spark some incense, and grab a cup of tea, because it's time for the Cousins Coven podcast. I'm Sharon.
And this is Wendy. Welcome back to the Coven, you guys.
Yay, here we are celebrating the spring equinox, Ostara, or Ostara, however you want to pronounce it. Yeah. We have like a beautiful setup today. We have a little egg candle here that we're burning, plus some little chime candles you had.
Yeah.
Each with their own little charms that we're going for. And you had some beautiful pink prophecy wine.
Yes.
So,
for our birthday.
Yeah, March birthdays. We're renewing ourselves with spring energy. We're both just happen to be wearing pink.
Yes, I've got our Cousins Coven logo shirt on that came in the mail. I'm really excited.
And you're using our Cousins Coven journal.
Yes, and I got a water bottle, so I was really excited about that.
Yay.
Yeah.
So guys, if you're interested in just supporting the Coven or showing your love for us, go ahead and check out our merch shop. We're having fun with just making designs and just, finding new ways to be creative and share that with everybody.
Yeah, I love it.
So I did want to kind of talk about the Sabbath, as I like to do, acknowledge the Wheel of the Year as it changes. So for people who don't know, Ostara is one of 8 neo-pagan holidays that is known as the Wheel of the Year collectively. And so each kind of marking is just telling us kind of what nature is going through. So this is one of the 3 spring Sabbaths that we do celebrate. And I think that spring is just one of those intuitive times, like even muggles know spring is about like spring cleaning. It's about cleaning out your house, donating things, getting all the dust from, out of every nook and cranny. And especially with everything that we're going through with these crazy viruses and stuff, like people are kind of cleaning out of fear. And I just want to remind people that spring is a good time to clean out of love and to just purify. And so get the fear out of the space with your cleaning.
Right. And now is the perfect time to open up those windows too. Now that the warmer weather is starting, at least for us anyways.
Even though we just had snow like 2 days ago.
2 days ago we had snow. Oh man. We were just thwarted by snow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's still a good time. Open it up. Like you were saying with the dust, it's a good time to get that out. And I found out this week that white sage, if you use that, kills 98% of germs.
I had no idea that it was a germ killer.
Just in the scent of the air. When I first saw the information, I was like, wait, is that true? And then I actually found it in a scientific journal that said white sage, if you burn a sage stick around your house, it will kill the bad germs.
I'm so excited. Mm-hmm. Like, I literally was having a horrible moment with my familiars, aka my cats, who just decided to urinate in one puddle for the week that I neglected. And I couldn't get the smell out, and then I lit a white sage incense that you had given me, and it was just like, oh,
that's great.
Clean air.
It said that it helps against viruses too. So I found that
nice.
That if you're doing that around somebody who's sick or you've been sick, it's a good time to sage right after being sick, because it kills up all those extra germs that are in the house.
I love that it's actually scientifically proven.
I know. I was like, oh. And I think it stems from the older days when people would get sick. I think that they used to burn sage. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, medicine men and women. And
and now.
A healing thing on many levels.
Right.
So not just metaphysical.
Right. I'm like, so shouldn't we be bringing that back instead of Clorox wipes? But.
If I could just sage the office.
Yeah.
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 That'd be great. Mm-hmm. For many reasons.
For sure.
Another thing I love talking about is, as far as the Sabbaths go, it's like kind of decorating your altar or your sacred spaces, and just to kind of reflect what's going on outside. Mm-hmm. So for me, typically around this time of year, I do like to get flowers, even if they're just fake flowers from the Dollar Tree, but just kind of making little circles around your altar, or doing the floating candles and things like that. I wasn't able to get any flowers this year, but more just floral scented incense, I would say. We just had a little incense run, you and I. And I noticed that half my boxes were all flowers.
Right. Right. I got that nice red rose. I think did you get a jasmine one?
I got like jasmine, I got some sort of lily and rose, and then dragon's blood for protection.
Nice. I got lotus flower, red rose, vanilla, and sage.
I love incense shopping.
Yeah, it was great. So nice.
I don't even know how I got to this. Oh yeah, we're talking about altar decorations. So what are ways that you feel like you could bring the spring inside or just do things to like pay homage to spring?
Well, I did have something on my list regarding that. Spring wreaths, like making a wreath, changing out that winter wreath that you had up and make a spring one.
Yeah.
Bringing in stuff from the outside. So use what winter has left behind to make something for spring. Yeah.
I love that idea because all the Pinterest pentagram wreaths that I'll see, I love them so much. Well, they'll use like the ribbon to make the little star. Right. And of course just like kind of color coordinate the flowers depending on the seasons. So I love the idea of all of that and really using your hands to make something new and pretty. Right. Yeah. It's kind of bold, too, if you are using a pentagram all year round. See if your neighbors clock you. Right. Yeah, before when I lived in Texas, it could have just been like, oh, you're Texas. There's stars everywhere.
Right. And the good thing about wreaths, I think, is they can be used indoors or outdoors. So you could technically have 2 or 3. Use it on both areas entering your house. If you're lucky enough to have a front and a back door, put wreaths on both sides and maybe a wreath inside so that you get that inside
dual action. Yeah, that's a cool idea. I've definitely done that because they can sort of fall apart too, I feel like, if they're outside.
And the thing about wreaths too is you can make them really small or you can make them very big. Yeah. So I think it's versatile. Like you can do what you want. Use your creativity.
That's a fun hack. Another thing too around this time for Ostara is the symbolism of seeing like eggs and rabbits, pastel colors and things like that. So, you know, Easter's very stemmed from these old traditions and things like that. All these different cultures around the world did celebrate really similar themes. But I think that it's interesting because when I read about rabbits and witches, I didn't realize there was this long stemming history of us being correlated to rabbits. And so there's all these old school tales of women who would admit to their village that, yeah, I transform into a rabbit or a hare and then I'm going to go fuck up your garden or do this or that and just, you know, cause trickery. And so witches were always thought to turn into rabbits. And so if that was like an old symbol, like, oh, I have this rabbit statue, I'm a witch kind of thing. And so now I feel like there's a reason to go thrift some like ceramic rabbits and bring them in the house.
Reminds me of the Velveteen Rabbit. Do you remember that cartoon?
I do. Yeah. Yeah, Peter Rabbit. Yeah. That was another one.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then I guess with like the Easter egg things, I guess that's just more of a symbol of, what are we talking about, like rebirth?
Yeah, and almost a prosperity. Like if you use the eggs, those plastic ones that you can fill, and you have your children looking for them, right? They're opening it up and finding new things inside, whether it's chocolate or money or whatever it is you put in the egg. So prosperity.
I love the idea of incorporating that into magic, like a mojo bag, but a mojo Easter egg hunt or whatever. Yeah. Like I know we were talking about doing some stuff outside magic wise, but just like maybe filling like a little manifestation list or spell, like writing on paper, putting it in there, putting in a coin for good luck, or putting in this herb or this or that, whatever, crystals, putting it in your garden and like manifesting or invoking that kind of energy.
Sure.
Ooh.
That'd be real cool.
I never thought about that.
And you can even write on them, and that's the thing, is you can decorate it with runes or symbols on the outside.
Ooh, runes. I love that idea.
See.
Ooh.
Lots of cool things.
We should have a pagan Easter egg hunt, an Ostara egg hunt.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it would work, but we can do it.
Yeah.
Another thing, too, that you could do is, like, actually plant seeds for your garden if you're the kind of witch who wants to, you know, use your green thumb and create life and work with nature. I think that's awesome. And so you can put a lot of intention into that entire process and a lot of emotions as you see that seedling grow and come into manifestation, into reality. Or you could just kind of look at it as planting seeds of, like, a new project or an inspiration or whatever you're working on in your own life.
Right. And it'd be cool if you did like an herb garden. So that way you had all of your witchy herbs throughout the year.
Yeah.
You're creating them yourself. So imagine all that intention you've already put into them. You're already working your magic as you're planting them.
Yeah. Growing your own sage, maybe. Growing your own herbs. Yay.
So it's a beautiful, beautiful thought. I love it.
So I definitely love spring. I feel like I had other questions for you about spring, but let me see. I guess we already talked about this, like just purification of your home and of yourself too. So don't leave yourself out of it. I think it's really important to cleanse because with this whole Corona thing going around, I think we all are getting kind of worried and scared. So what better time to try to like cast a circle of protection around yourself, like literally every morning, try to send good vibes to yourself, and like just de-stress yourself. Right.
It's funny that you say that because that was one of the things on my list to talk about was to do a protection from the virus. I feel like I've been doing it not just to myself but my house every day, sitting kind of in the middle every morning of my living room, just kind of doing a protection around my house so that the virus can't come in.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just smart.
Yeah.
Who knows if, there's that part of me that wants to be a skeptic even in my own magic sometimes. Like, who knows if I can really do this? But you know what? I'm going to believe I really can.
Right.
And what's the harm in that?
Exactly. And the whole thing is magic is about manifestation. And if you believe in it, then it will manifest itself, regardless of how ridiculous it seems.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the balance when I'm manifesting. Do you want to be specific? Because I always hear people say you have to be so specific on what you're manifesting, otherwise you'll get something else that you weren't intending. But shouldn't you just go with what the universe has to give you?
You should. I mean, there are two coins to that. I mean, really. Like, if you follow what the universe is trying to tell you, then it's taking you longer to get to the end result and the goal that you wanted. But along the way, you would learn lessons. So if you question, if you put your intentions extremely specific, you might not learn all those lessons as if you were following the universe.
I'm having a hard time like deciding what I want to manifest, so I just decided to like, don't worry and just go with it for now.
I know we're having to live in the moment with this virus going on because we don't know what every day is going to look like. So we actually had plans for our birthday and had to cancel them because of everything that's going on and our weather, our crazy weather. So it was like we had all these things happening at one time for us and then had to live in the moment because we couldn't make a decision because we didn't know the future.
I think that it is a great time for podcasting. It's a great time for staying inside and relaxing. A good time for meditating, house cleansing, sorting out your closets.
Right.
Do that magic. Do your tarot cards. We could all just kind of hibernate and chill for a minute. Check out Netflix.
Out with the old, in with the new. That kind of reminds me, we had someone who sent some information or a question in about cleansing a mirror.
Ooh, I love this already.
I thought maybe he was gifted a mirror and he's just getting some strange vibes off of it. And so my advice was to make sure that it's facing a window that opens so you could sage the mirror and at the same time ask the spirit to leave, and then the spirit would have no choice but to leave because it sees nothing but the window.
I love this. This really makes me think of Constantine, how he like throws the possessed spirit into the mirror and then out the window.
Yeah.
But you're letting him keep his mirror, which I prefer than just throwing it outside into a taxi.
Yeah. I don't, unless you don't know how to cleanse an object, if you can't do it yourself or you don't know who's somebody who can do it, then maybe I would say get rid of it. But most of the time, if you're listening to this podcast, you're doing magic. And you're either going to learn to do that cleansing or you're going to already know how to do that cleansing.
So I feel like there's more details on this experience. Is there more that you can share with me? Because I have a ton of questions. Like our listener, his mirror, his experience with the mirror.
So he just said that he got an eerie feeling. He kept feeling like there was a spirit around that had not so good intentions. And so I just said, well, you need to talk to it first of all. And then second of all, sage it. So I said, get a sage stick and then run the sage all around it, just like you would anything else. And talk to the spirit as you're doing it and ask it to leave. So I guess that. I mean, he didn't have a whole lot of information.
I like that, though, that you're saying point it towards the window. Like, I just imagine that the moonbeams and the sunbeams are doing a dual cleansing.
Right.
And then that way it's just going, like you said, directly shooting right outside into the energy. Maybe you can open the window a crack.
Right.
And then close it.
So feng shui kind of always wants you to say to put the mirror on the opposite side of the window. Because not only does it have that spiritual effect, you get that great light when you're looking into it, and then also as light is reflecting off of it, it can light up the space that you live in. So it's just that kind of thing that you want to make your mirror a light.
I love that feng shui, like all the little tips. I do find it challenging to actually figure out what side they're talking about. I had one book in particular that was like teaching you how to break down your space, and it was always so difficult to like try to make this one corner what they wanted. I'm like, that's where my litter box is, which really doesn't fit in any corner. Yeah. Or that's where my toilet is. Like, I haven't quite figured out how to work in feng shui into my home. Are you someone who's taken little things here and there?
Other than the mirror thing, and I feel like that's it. Really, the mirror thing is what I do the most. I mean, you've seen my house. It's not completely organized.
It's just lived in, just normal.
Yeah, just lived in, and yeah.
I know that you're supposed to have like your feet and your bed facing the door so that like at night all your energy goes outside. So that's another thing, I guess, a lot like the mirror you're saying, facing it outside. So that's pretty much the only thing I know. My sister is the type who will plant, like, not plant, but she'll have a jade plant in the house and then put some sort of, like, coin in the dirt, and that's supposed to bring prosperity. Right. And I was like, oh, how witchy. Yeah. I love when I just see my family being, like, witchy in different ways. Yeah.
And sometimes they don't even mean to be. Yeah.
They're just being awesome.
Right. So
do you know if our listener was able to cleanse his mirror successfully?
He said that he was going to, and he thanked me for the tip. That was it. So.
All right, good luck, you guys. Yeah. Cleanse that shit. Yeah. You can do so many different things if you don't have sage on hand. There's all these different types of things you could use. You could even try to make your own moon water and just bless some water yourself with some salt, some moonshine, or just putting it outside even if it doesn't get the moon directly in there. I think we're all empowered to really take handle of any situation and take control over it if we put the energy and the intention in the right place. Right,
exactly. So you had an experience this week, I feel like. Did you want to talk about it?
I'm trying to remember what it was. What
Sleeping.
Did you... Oh, I didn't really think of it as an experience, but when I told you, you did. Yeah. So basically my cats just like to like go off. I should say one cat. One of my cats is kind of a troublemaker. His name's Fox. He is the one who like ran away one night, and I just thought that I was the worst mom ever. And then he like came back at 3 a.m. just like meowing at my back door. He loves to meow, and if he thinks it's time to wake up because of my work schedule and I'm sleeping out on my off day, he'll just start meowing and meowing and meowing. So it's gotten to the point where I'll just have a squirt bottle like by my bed from the Dollar Tree. So it's like a game of how soon till it leaks because it's a crappy water bottle and I'm out and I can't, effectively shut him up. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm out of water in it. It spilled. Couldn't shut him up. And so I kept getting woken up like every hour, every half hour, every 15 minutes. You really don't know. And that kind of caused me to have weird dreams, like lucid dreams where I was in control. And like my body was zooming through these streets in my town. And I was able to like turn a corner and be like, oh, nope, I don't want to go that way. I want to go to the left and like actively make decisions. And it just felt like I was zooming through town. And you were like, were you really doing that? Is what I felt like you were going to assume.
No, I was thinking that wasn't a lucid dream. That was astral projecting.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking you were thinking.
Yeah. I was like, you were astral projecting? Because I just thought it was crazy because at the same time, I too was astral projecting that night too.
What?
So I was just like, wait, what? I was just astral projecting in my house, not on purpose. But
whoa.
I was watching myself and my husband sleep. It's kind of weird.
You have to go into detail. So you just floated above and then turned around?
No, I didn't float above. I was just at the end of my bed.
Watching yourself?
Yeah, I was like, wait, I'm astral projecting right now?
Whoa, I've never seen myself.
And so then when you said that was the first time I'd really seen myself. I'd seen other people, but not really myself. So that was weird. But when you had said that, I was like, wait, so we astral projected on the same night? What was going on? And then I realized that it was around that full moon.
Yeah.
So we just got rid of all that retrograde crap. We had the full moon, Friday the 13th, which makes it a powerful time for witches. And I feel like astral projecting would be a part of that. So we were in our strength.
I never thought I was actively out in the world.
I feel like you were.
I'm all like shocked.
Did you see a bunch of people around?
No, but
exactly.
Because I was in control, I was like trying to look for hotties, but I didn't. You know, like in a dream, you're just like, I want to see a hot person and make out. That's, you know, where your mind goes. Or maybe just me, but...
No, I was going to say when I was astral projecting, I thought, I wonder what would happen if I got up on top of my husband right now.
Shut
But I didn't.
That is hot. That's so
but
funny.
I was like, I'm airing out my dirty secret now.
Astral projecting up on that.
Astral sex.
Astral sex. You need to make sure it's consensual before you do that with your partner. You know how like some couples have an agreement like I can wake up and you can be wherever you want to be. Others are like no, do not do that.
Oh no, we already have an agreement. So.
Oh, you're like no.
He would have been cool with it. It's just that I just didn't go there because I was afraid.
This is what happens when we have a little bit of wine, y'all. Yeah,
got a little sexy.
It's that springtime rabbit energy. Well, I think that should change the topic.
I'm a little warm right now. Okay, so let's talk about waxing and waning of magic. So I am a part of this local witch group on Facebook, and someone had wrote in, I feel like I'm new to the witch stuff. She had said that she was just new to the witch environment and new to magic. And she'd been noticing kind of a pattern where her magic was sometimes really strong and sometimes not very strong. And so I thought maybe that would be interesting for us to talk about for our listeners.
I definitely think that's a thing in my personal life.
Me too.
Like you have months where you could be on it, and then months where you're not.
Right. And that's just kind of the balance of magic. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that's just how it has to be, because you can't be on high magic all the time.
Yeah, it's like cyclical. Yeah. We have to hibernate and...
Right.
I don't know if as a witch, I feel like as a witch, for me anyway, it feels like it's very connected to nature and the elements, and so it can be with the seasons. So around Samhain, sometimes it feels a little bit higher, or things like that. I don't know. Do you think that we're always constantly ebbing and flowing with the moon itself, or everyone's on their own kind of cycle?
I feel like it's everybody on their own kind of cycle, but it depends on, do you resonate more with the equinoxes? Do you resonate more with the moon cycle? What is it that resonates with you? And I feel that's what the path you would be on. So that's just my personal opinion. I don't know if that's fact.
Sometimes I feel like just my lady time is its own cycle I'm attuned with, and I can't even get a grip of that at moments.
Right. I get that. I know. I'm going through that perimenopause thing. I know this is a lot of information, but it seriously has messed me up. Like, as a woman, and I feel like I can't use that time to do magic because I'm down at my bottom and I have no energy left.
So it's a draining week or so?
Yeah.
Or?
Sometimes more. Yeah.
I'm always fascinated by what people are going through in their different cycles of womanhood, because really all my teachings, the only thing I ever had would be like 1 day, 1 hour in a public school setting where we would talk about like periods, and that was it.
Right.
But no one really, I don't feel like there's enough talk about what the woman's cycle goes through, especially in menopause and all these different stages. Like there's strength in coming together and talking about the weaknesses and the strengths.
Yeah, I'm having to go out and search for stuff because I could talk to my doctor about it, but it's all very clinical. And I need to know the truth. I need to know, like, just like the oracle cards tell me the truth, I need a woman to tell me the truth. So I've been out reading a lot of blogs about women who are going through the same thing, and it made me feel like, oh, I'm not alone.
Yay.
Every woman goes through this.
Yeah.
Those hot flashes and moments of being freezing cold and no energy and tired all the time. And
doesn't it seem like the type of thing when a woman who's hot flashing complains about it, like, people just write it off like, ugh, woman problems. Right. Like, no one really can empathize or sympathize.
Yeah. And I don't mind the hot flashes as much because I'm usually so cold all the time that I was just like, oh, yeah, this is what it feels like to be warm.
Yeah, when you live in a cold state, it's like a nice little heater.
Yeah. I was like, oh, feels like I'm running a fever. Oh, no, I'm just hot-blooded.
You just turned into Mae West on me.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm all, ooh.
Am I hot to see or just hot flashes? Yeah. Woman problems.
Exactly. What else do we have? I had another news article, kind of. So I wish that I would have kept this news article after I read it, but
you read it.
I read it online in some scientific journal thing, had saved the link, and then somehow closed it without actually saving the link. So I didn't get to reread it before we recorded this episode, so hopefully it's still interesting. But basically they're saying that with the satellites that NASA and other companies have put out, they're now going beyond Neptune and beyond Pluto, and they're starting to see more planets out there.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw a headline.
And so they believe that they're going to get out there and see that Planet 9. Like, remember on our conspiracy episode, we were talking about Planet 9.
Planet Nibiru?
Yeah, they think that they're going to actually be able to catch images of it. So I'm excited to see where that goes, and I'll definitely be following it and updating everyone. But yeah, I was like, finally. I've been waiting my life for this.
For more.
Yeah.
I saw one headline that was just like about seeing 100 other planets, or some scientists believe there were 100 other planets just within our solar system or right outside of it.
Yes. Yeah. Which is way more.
100?
So all we can say is, oh, there's these 9 planets, but guess what? There's more.
Think how tiny we are. There could be one that's populated within this whole solar system is what we're saying? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there could be other life out there. Cool stuff though, huh?
Yeah.
Come visit us, aliens.
If you haven't already,
yes.
They're among us.
Yes. So we had a listener who wrote in, and I just wanted to share his information and kind of discuss it. So he says, the place where my house is had another house here at one time. It used to be an old farmhouse, but it burned down and then my house was built. He says, I still find broken dishes and odd things around the yard, and in one corner of the house there's a basement with some of the old house that's still in it. And sometimes he said the lights flicker on and off, but not too often. So I did have a conversation. I asked him a couple of things. He just knows that the old house burnt down. He doesn't believe that anybody died in it. He said that the newer house has been there for about 10 years. And prior to that, there had only been one other family who had lived on the property. So a total of only 3 families have lived on this property that he knew of.
Wow.
So, but he has been experiencing the flickering of lights in a new house. That's kind of odd.
That sounds really cool. What do you think about him finding stuff out in the yard? Does that just sound like human garbage?
I mean, it could be remnants of that house that burnt down.
Mm-hmm.
None of us weren't there, or were there. So what if they had been taking their stuff out and left it, or as they were clearing out the remnants of the old house, just stuff got left behind.
It sounds like it'd be beneficial to have, like, to sit down and try to meditate with the energies of the house, like a Marie Kondo style. Just be like, what is the house trying to tell me? What are its vibes? What are its needs? Kind of like if they felt the need to cleanse it, or even just like honor the energies that are there by lighting a candle. What do you think?
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Nice.
Yeah, just to communicate. This kind of reminds me that I had my friend message me. Remember, we went over to her house. I think we talked about this on podcast, but we went over to her house and we kind of cleansed her mom's house. She said she thinks that we didn't get everything inside, so she wants us to come back eventually. There was one thing that's still left that she could feel.
Sometimes I wonder if that just means that spirit is there and they have to learn to get along with it.
Right, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
She did say something very interesting, that she was digging in the basement, and if you remember what the basement looks like, it was kind of smallish, but didn't have a full floor, and part of it was a dirt floor. And she said she was digging and she found a shoestring that was stuck into the dirt all the way down, and she can't pull it out.
Oh my God, what is attached to some dead
I don't know.
guy's
She
foot?
said she was trying to pull, and I was like, well, just dig, because she's my friend, I'm just like, dig a little more.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's get to the bottom of it, dig a little more. So I think she's going to try to get it down as far as she can to see what it's attached to.
Oh my gosh. When you were mentioning this person finding old broken dishes, it made me think of your friend's house.
I know, same.
As we were cleansing, she was unearthing all these artifacts.
Right. She found little bottles, like from the early 1900s. And
what does that say about people's energies? Like, we must be connected to these objects in such strong ways.
Or something happened, energy is kind of like soap left behind in the shower. It's like the remnants of it stay on there. So just me even touching these rocks, if I threw them outside, I have these stones on the table. If I touch them, I throw them out, and somebody else finds them 10 years down the road, my energy is still left on those. Mm-hmm. Whether it's happiness, sadness, whatever.
Right.
So
it does feel like certain properties where there was a lot of energy, like you're just so connected to your home while you're in it. It's like always so emotional when you leave homes. It's something crazy about property lines containing your residual energy or memories.
Right. And think of what we do in a home. We celebrate holidays. We celebrate birthdays. We celebrate each other. We have fights in them. We feel most at home in them. So everything that happens is left behind in some way.
Should we draw like 2 cards for our listener to see what the energy's in their house?
Sure.
I just am feeling called to do this. And you have these beautiful oracle cards.
Yes. So which ones, tell everybody which ones you have.
I'm using Earth Magic, these oracle cards.
And I'm using Witch's Wisdom oracle cards.
So I feel like with these cards, I kind of want to see what are the energies basically, what are their intentions, where are they coming from, to shed light so that you don't feel so in the dark about what you're dealing with.
Right. For our listener.
Okay, I'm feeling content with my shuffle. I'm just going to draw one, see where that takes me. Oh, shit, y'all. I got the fairy Earth Magic.
Oh.
What if it is like an earthly magic kind of presence connected to this place?
Well, if it was on a farm of any kind whatsoever, I could see that being a thing.
Wow, little fairies.
I got tarot cards for guidance.
Either we're on the right path for using tarot cards to connect with them, or they could do their own tarot card reading. I don't know if this listener does card readings.
Well, hit us up if you need more, and maybe we could do that for you.
Yeah, yeah, right? That sounds like we just totally, planned that. That is not a plug.
That is not it at all.
So, that is cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to draw one more of yours, I feel like?
Okay. So, I got the Chalice of Fulfillment.
To me, that would think, leave a little offering and a drink for them.
Right.
If you're interested in communicating. That could be you extending the olive branch.
Right. And I know it makes people feel kind of crazy. I know
or
that.
Fearful.
Right. I just had my mom kind of contact me about the same thing this week. She has been living in her house a little over a year, and they're still kind of getting the ins and outs of where everything's at as anybody who moves into a house. And she was telling me that all of a sudden she just smelled smoke, and she was like, well, maybe the neighbors are out, so she went outside, looked around. She looks around the house, nothing's on fire, nothing. And the smoke had dissipated within like 30 seconds to a minute. And then it kept happening repetitively throughout the week and ramping up. And then my stepdad went into the hospital. He had some sort of weird attack for low vitamins, and it caused him to go to the hospital.
Wow.
And while he was in the hospital, the smell of the smoke ramped up more in the home.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom was like, what is going on? She messaged me. She's like, I need to know what's happening right now. I was like, well, just turn everything off in the house and sit down and talk to it. And she was like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, just talk to it. I know you believe in ghosts. Just talk to the ghost. Because that's what's happening right now. So she said she turned everything off and she meditated, and I haven't heard anything since. So I don't know. I don't know if it went well.
Huh. I'm surprised that she could tell you that she did it, but not that she got results or what her findings were.
Yeah.
Leaving us hanging. But that's a big deal to help someone connect to that energy. Mm-hmm. There are certain people who've had experiences with negative energies that will just kind of like shut that whole window. Like, no, I will not talk to spirits. I do not mess with Ouija boards. I do not talk to demons.
Right.
And, you know, everyone does their own thing. We can't all be the same, so I just have to respect that.
Mm-hmm. But,
you know, I encourage people to just think about it from a different perspective, even if you don't want to try it.
Right. I always think of it like this. Not everything is the devil.
Yeah, that's a good philosophy.
So that's why we have to humanize them. Because even that negative energy or those negative spirits, probably just a human.
And it's a lot of the times your perception is your reality.
Right.
Even when you meet people, if there's someone who looks like this, you're going to think, oh, they're beautiful, maybe they're a bitch, or this or that.
Right.
Like, whatever you want to put on a person, you could do that to spirits as well, where you're just scared.
Right.
You're putting that label on them that they're evil.
Right.
But really it's just some like old grandpa, like just, you know, maybe knocking on the door. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. You know, in high school I used to have people tell me that I was, they, just by my appearance, that they thought I was an extremely tough person and were really afraid to even talk to me because they thought I would just be like, what are you looking at?
Wow.
And I was like, not that way at all. Not 1%. Not even 1% of me is that way.
Yeah, I've got the bitch thing before where they're like, oh, I just thought you were a snob. And I was like, no, I'm just a nerd who's like super insecure, like really nice, like a bunny rabbit. Like, no.
Right.
Yeah. No.
So just like that, we're just portraying that onto spirits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be labeled. Nobody wants to be labeled.
Right? We get to pick our labels.
Yeah.
I pick witch.
Yes.
That's my label.
What else? I had one more thing, if you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I gotta get it out really quick. I started reading this book by something I saw. I saw some meme about coronavirus that was talking about this was predicted. Read this article out of this book, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, I've never heard of this book. I was just real interested more in the book than I was about the quote that they had. And so I looked it up, and it's a book by Sylvia Browne, which she's a famous kind of medium. She's a famous medium. Okay. She goes around and travels from place to place and helps you connect with your dead loved ones. But she's also written a lot of really good books. This one's called End of Days, and she kind of went through in the first part of the book and talked about some crazy stuff. I haven't gotten very far, but she talked about how every year since the beginning of time, really, there's been these prophets that have said the world is ending, the world is ending, the world is ending. It just keeps happening. We see all these cult leaders, the world is ending. That's basically what her thing was about. But the story that I wanted to talk about is so beautiful and uplifting that I had to share it. So, in Inca, Peru, there is this tribe called the Cueros, and they are revered shamans and just a good tribal people that really believe in Mother Earth and keeping the tradition of the Incans. And so they have all these stories and all of these legends that have been passed down from generation to generation. And in 1996, they offered for some head-ups from the United States to come have a visit because they had a message that they came across while they were looking at traditions. and the leaders from America came to meet these people in the Incan mountains, and they sat down and they had just explained to the higher ups that this is what our ancestry believes is going to happen, and they said that change was coming. And so here's what they have to say, and I'm just going to read it straight from the book.
Okay.
The new caretakers of the earth will come from the west. And then what they meant there was the United States. And those that have made the greatest impact on Mother Earth now have the moral responsibility to remake their relationship with her after remaking themselves. The prophecy holds that North America will supply the physical strength or body. Europe will supply the mental aspect or head, and the heart will be supplied by South America. These prophecies are meant to be optimistic. They refer to the end of time as we know it, not the end of the world. The death of the way of thinking and a way of being, the end of a way of relating to nature and to the earth. In the coming years, we Incans expect us to emerge into a golden age, a golden millennium of peace. The prophecy speaks of tumultuous changes happening in the earth and in our psyche, redefining our relationships and spirituality. The next great change has already begun, and it promises the emergence of a new human being after this period of turmoil. And so basically they're saying that these people have to become awakened, that we have to change, and a new human is going to rule the earth. A new human who believes in peace. And so they wanted to leave this, and they said, if everybody could just follow this is how the new life will go. Follow your own footsteps. Learn from the rivers and the trees and the rocks. Honor the Christ, the Buddha, your brothers and sisters. Honor your Earth Mother and the Great Spirit. Honor yourself and all of the creation. And look with the eyes of your soul and engage in the essential.
Nice.
Yeah.
All in all, it's like a positive way of looking at like a mental change, a change of perspective, a change of a way of thinking.
Right. Out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a way of stop being so destructive to the earth and thinking more about like reusing materials and being less wasteful.
Right.
Less harmful to everything and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's a lot of hippy-dippy, like utopian desires, but it's usually out of the negative situations, positive change kind of shines after that as a hope and a shift in energies, you know?
Right. Whoa, why is that? I noticed that while I was reading, that candle was going crazy.
The third eye candle was shaking like crazy when you were talking about like all this good stuff coming and having the knowledge to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh dang, her third eye is on.
I kept feeling this like,
it's
you know,
doing it right now.
When your body feels like it's falling asleep. Sometimes I get shoots of energy that go through my body that kind of feel like that. So I felt that, and then the candle went up, and I was like, dang, it's got me going.
Yeah, no, that one's going good, and you lit that one, so I feel like it's going.
Nice.
It's really cool because they have this Ostara egg candle, and now that it's like the top part is like cracked, it's like all this wax yolk is coming out the side.
Yeah, it is very pretty. And then from my perspective, where I'm sitting, it looks like it's making shapes. Yeah.
How we get distracted by doing magic.
I know, right? We're like, oh, magic.
Oh.
Look over here, magic.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for our orb today?
I wanted to say ask something about Corona, but that's too dark. What are you thinking?
I guess maybe to see if this thing is going to go away in 3 months.
Okay, let's do it. Corona, will you be gone from the earth in 3 months from now? March 2020. No doubt about it.
Good.
Let's see if we're right.
Be gone, but in the meantime,
hibernate.
If we're going to close down, let's just close down. That's
yeah.
how I feel.
Let's all be on vacay.
Yeah, just do magic nonstop. I'm like opening a sweat lodge in my house. Like, I'm going to do a Aura cleanse.
In the sauna.
Yeah.
Just reading tarot cards and getting them all moist.
Oh, well. I've like got them in plastic covers.
I was thinking that actually. I know when I used to play like Pokemon like a nerd, we had these card protectors.
Me too. Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I was like, I need plastic on plastic. Like, I don't want it to be like, to block the artwork on either side of the card, though. It needs to be clear plastic, I think.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. Clear.
Very clear. I love it.
So, we're having a lot of fun with our oracle cards. We're hoping that someday we could read for more and more people, but
Yeah.
it's so fun.
It is. I love it. I'm getting another deck. You said you were getting some. I just can't believe this. Like, I'm just ordering
Yeah, like
late at night.
the idea of just mixing and mashing them all together has been really fun
Yeah.
and enlightening. And I'm liking these type that, like, I think we talked about last episode, that have more intuitive messages on the front, so you don't have to go, like, read a damn thick tome to figure out the knowledge.
Right.
You can kind of just decipher it for yourself immediately.
Yeah.
And I think the more that I practice with these type of cards, the better I'll get at it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yay for divining
I love it.
and candle magic. Yay for Sabbats. Cheers to the Sabbats.
Yay.
Cheers to the birthdays.
Here's our one.
Mm-hmm.
Prophecy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything else. I think I was going to plug our newsletter and just say, guys, if you haven't signed up, you should. That's it.
I was waiting. I was like,
That's it. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't persuade you any other way than to say just to sign up. It's cool.
Yeah, sign up. Send us your messages. We still, like, really enjoy hearing them. So it was really great
Yes.
to have a couple people reach out to us. And we love the comments, love all the positive vibes, keep it connected. Hearing about other people's experiences is just awesome. So
I love
keep
it.
telling me about your weird paranormal experiences, what kind of witchcraft journey you're on to, what kind of things do you want us to talk about or look into, or just have questions for us. We love asking each other weird little questions.
And stay safe. Put up your protection around yourself, you guys. Everybody stay healthy. Remember, you're loved.
Healthy mind too. Like,
Yeah.
it's really about cleansing, spring cleaning our brains. Do that shadow work under the moon. Try to exercise those demons.
Yep. I can't say self, though. I mean, like, I don't want to go running, but
Yeah.
I'll run my aura all day long.
Yeah. Cleanse the aura.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to you guys next time, and
So may you find happiness in your heart, love for yourself, and join each other. Blessings to all.